What is up, everyone? Welcome to the first Mock Draft Monday show. We'll have this released every Monday at noon-ish Eastern. I know I'm really blurry. It's not really going well. But anyways, picking all the teams first round. Hopefully I look better as I stop getting pixelated. But anyways, Jimmy's going to be the odds. I'm going to be the evens this week. We'll switch that next week, and we'll see if the weeks after if we get more people coming on. So, Mr. O'Malley, you're up first. Chicago Bears at number 1 overall.
All right, picking for a division rival. This is tough, but I think they're going to make the obvious choice, and I think they're going to make the right choice. They're going to take quarterback Caleb Williams out of USC. I think the Justin Field era is over. I think they're moving on, and I think they really like Caleb Williams. And a lot of people are making more of a fuss about his media statements than I think many people should. I think him and Chicago make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so now is when the draft really starts, kind of. I'm also picking for a division rival, my first pick. So unfortunately, I think the Commanders are going to do very well with how much money they have. Dan Quinn's an excellent coach. And we'll see how the Cliff Kingsbury thing goes with offensive coordinator. But anyways, also going to be quarterback for Washington at number 2, unless they reunite with Kirk Cousins in free agency. So it's Jaden Daniels, the Heisman winner, or Drake May. And I've made my my Daniels hate made known on the show. And they also have another UNC quarterback already there, and Sam Howell. That would be a good backup for Drake May. But I think I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. Seems to fit the Cliff Kingsbury offense, more spread out. I think if you're going to go with Drake May, you need more of a quarterback run game ingrained into the offense. So I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels for Washington.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think once I saw Cliff Kingsbury getting hired, I think him and Jaden Daniels make the most sense. I think Daniels, in my opinion, has an unbelievably high ceiling, but my God, does he have a floor that can reach hell. I mean, but again, I think Washington's trying to turn a new leaf. They've been known as a more conservative drafting team in the past. I think they're going to really want to try for someone, that indicates a lot of risk. And I think teams are kind of looking kind of Anthony Richardson kind of thing. It's like, okay, it was a big risk, but it looks like Anthony Richardson's working out with the Colts, so why not work out with us? Mm-hmm. So I think this would be correct. I got this next pick, and I have a trade to announce because my Minnesota Vikings are going to trade up from the 11th pick to the Patriots. I don't have the full details, so we don't have to do a full thing here. So just do 3 and 11 because I know there's going to be swapped. We can assume Vikings are probably going to throw in another first-round pick, maybe even 2, plus more sweeteners. So let's just do this for right now, and then, yeah, throw that second and call it a day.
I wonder if the computer shuts down our trades or not.
Since we're the Patriots. Oh, really? Right. You know what? I did this yesterday. Go to proposed trade, go to Patriots, and then Vikings.
If we just propose all their picks.
Do third, do 11, 42. Yeah. 42, 166, and then 1 and 2, and it should be fine. That seems like a realistic pick right now. Really? Okay, you know what? Just make it happen no matter what you need to do, because I think this trade is most likely to happen. The trade you're going to see on screen is definitely not what's going to happen. But you're definitely going to see a 3 and the 11 swapped in some way. Why is this not working? Just trade everything. just give them everything they would ever want and more. I don't see the Vikings trading back into the first round, so it's not like I see them making any more trades to begin with.
I think it's because the Vikings are giving up too much. I think that might be
maybe the computer wants to even out. So yeah, do that for Minnesota first. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Why is this not working? Here's what I would do. Let me just speak out the trade. Do go to Patriots, do 3 and 190. 3 and 190. Go to Vikings, good so far, and then do 156 and then Minnesota second for next year. That should maybe work. I had this work last time I did this. What the fuck is going on?
Well, we'll just have to do no trades for now.
Okay. So for the fans, let's assume the Patriots pick is the Vikings pick, because I think this is the most likely trade. So as the Patriots, I am drafting as the Vikings, as the Vikings, I am drafting as the Patriots. Well, that makes sense. So at 11 right now, it's going to be Patriots. At 3, it's going to be Vikings. And at number 3, I think this is the obvious pick, especially after the Josh McCown hiring. The Vikings are going to draft Drake May. I think that makes the most sense. I think that's the guy they want to get here. And I would be really excited to see Drake May as a Viking next year, with or without Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I think regardless, either team, I think whether they do a trade or not, I think that I don't know why. I think that Drake May is going to be there, whether it's at 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's Patriots, Vikings, or someone else, I think definitely going to be the second or third quarterback. Love Drake May. Super talented. Again, he little inconsistent at UNC, but threw for over 8,000 yards and a super experienced starter. And again, I think an offense utilizing Drake May's legs would serve that team well.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see Drake May throw into Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and Hawkinson. Holy shit, that'd be fun.
So I'm up with the Cards at 4 here. It's an easy one. We're running this thing to the podium. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. I understand DJ Humphries might not be back, might retire, would maybe need a tackle in that case. But, there are tackles, and I understand there are receivers that you can get in free agency as well. A guy like Jonah Williams, though, at tackle, I think could be a Cardinals target. But yeah, I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison. Think that's too much of a fit. Everyone's been mocking him to Arizona. And, hey, maybe they even re-sign Hollywood Brown and gives Kyler a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah. When I think about that pick, I really do think kind of like when D-Hop first got to Arizona, like how really proficient they were together. And I think this could be another really good QB wide receiver combo. Now, I have number 5. I have the Los Angeles Chargers with new head coach Jim Harbaugh. Now, this one I struggled with. I was wondering, would they trade back a little bit or would they sit and take best available? But the problem is you got 2 very good offensive tackles and a very good tight end in Brock Bowers. And I could realistically see the Chargers having, reason to go for any of those guys. But I'm going to go safe. I think they take Joe Alt, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. I think you look at the Chargers' weapons and offensive line, and I think you would love to get Brock Bowers in there. But at the same time, there's so much on that offense that needs to be fixed, and it starts in the trenches, in my opinion. And I think Joe Alt makes a ton of sense for that Chargers offense.
Yeah, I agree. I love Joe Alt. For one, because he's literally a mountain. Measured in at 6'9". Let's see where he's at. Yeah. So 6'9", 321. 10-inch hands, 34.5-inch arms. Ran a 5.05 in the 40. 1.73 10 split. I've said this before, but I think Joe Alt's going to be a Joe Staley type of guy, Joe Thomas, 10-year plus, multiple Pro Bowls, all pros. Yeah, I just think he's awesome. And Justin Herbert's going to love him. Yeah. The Giants. Luckily for me, I get to pick another one of my division teams' picks. The Giants are an interesting one. Seems to have settled on their tackles. It's kind of iffy on that. As you can see, Pro Football Network has offensive tackle as the second biggest need, or one of the top 5 needs that they need. But no, it's wide receiver. Daniel Jones needs help, and while Brock Bowers would be great, they already have Darren Waller, so they don't need a receiving threat at tight end, even though Darren Waller can't really stay healthy. But it's got to be wide receiver. And now you're talking about Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze. Odunze had a hell of a combine. But I think I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors. He is the more explosive of the two, even though we don't have numbers, because he didn't do anything at the combine. Him and Jaden Daniels, those two didn't even do measurements at the combine, which was really odd. But Odunze had, awesome 4.45, 39 on the vert. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Malik Neighbors. I don't really have a big reason. It's just kind of a gut thing. I think Malik Neighbors to the Giants is better than Odunze to the Giants.
Now I have the Tennessee Titans at number 7. Now this one would be interesting, but as we can both see on the screen here, team needs offensive tackle, number 1. And I agree. In my mock draft, I did have them taking Dallas Turner, but that was because, how the hell do you pronounce it? The offensive tackle from Penn State, Olu
Fashanu. Just say Olu Fashanu.
Olu Fashanu. I did not have him available. I actually had him going to the Giants. But with him available now, I think to protect what could be possibly your franchise QB, I think you got to take him. I think it'd be really smart for the Titans to take Olu right here and shore up that offensive line. I've seen this kid play. He's good. I think, to me, it's Joe Alt and this kid, and I don't think there's a wrong choice. And with Joe Alt already off the board, Tennessee is taking Olu from Penn State.
Yeah, it's tough. He strained his quad today, running the 40. So hopefully we'll be able to see him work out more at his pro day. But yeah, the offensive line was atrocious for Tennessee. I think they played like 5 or 6 tackles last year. So to get someone that can slide in, maybe even play right next to last year's first rounder, Peter Skoronski, solidify the left side would be pretty good for Will Levis's blind side.
Lost you for a little bit there.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. As long as he can hear me, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Anyways, 8 for the Falcons. While it would be fantastic to take a Georgia player with the Falcons, I think where the Falcons are going to go, there's no quarterbacks available, right, at this point. Although Ian Rappaport today did say, I think Daniel Jeremiah did too, that they expect JJ McCarthy possibly to be moving inside the top 10 by draft night. I don't feel comfortable, and I don't think I don't know. I don't really like the JJ to Atlanta kind of fit for some odd reason. But again, Falcons don't need tight end. They have Kyle Pitts. I am going to go with Dallas Turner. They need pass rush. They've needed it for a couple years now. And so that's where I'm going with Atlanta and new head coach Raheem Morris. You're back on with the Bears. What happened to Jimmy?
All right.
Yeah, so you're back on the clock with the Bears at 9.
Ooh, now this is a tough one. Because in my mock draft, I did not have Brock Bowers available. I had him going to the Falcons, but you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I hate to help the Bears more than I already am, but Brock Bowers is a Chicago Bear. Because, I mean, that is a great guy to match with Caleb Williams. You already have Cole Kmet.
That's why I'm saying why they have Cole Kmet, though.
I think if you got 2 great tight ends, you could really set yourself up for something special. And you got Brock Bowers, Cole Kmet, you got DJ Moore. You're giving Caleb Williams a ton of firepower coming in as a rookie. I really like that for the Bears.
Okay. It's not where I would have went with him, but it's your pick. So I'm up with the Jets here, and I am going tackle. Aaron Rodgers needs help on the outside. And I'm going with the guy who absolutely shined today in drills and everything that he did. I am going to go with Talise Fuaga from Oregon State. This guy, let's see, where's he at here? 6'6", 324, 10 and an eighth inch hands. 32 on the vert was excellent for a guy that size. Should provide A-Rod with solid protection on the backside. And a mauler in the run game.
All right. Well, it says Vikings, but I'm picking for the Patriots here, just so everyone knows. Now, this one is a tough one. A little bit of me wants to say J.J. McCarthy, but to me, if the Patriots were to trade out of the top 3, it would make very little sense to draft a quarterback when you had a great opportunity for one at number 3. So I think they're going to try to shore up that.
Who's to say that they didn't trade for Fields? Right?
Maybe that could be an interesting one. Because I think the Falcons, who were kind of the favorites for Fields for a while, I think the Falcons like Kirk Cousins a lot, which means they could go for Fields.
Mm-hmm.
But all that being said, I think right now for the Patriots, I think you got to get better defensively. And Latu from UCLA makes a lot of sense. I think that's who I had them taking, the edge rusher. And I think that really does help the Patriots a lot. I think that would be a very good first step. And if they get a QB in the offseason, great. If not, maybe they'll wait till next year and see who's available. But I think starting with Latu on the edge will really put this rebuild into a very good start.
Yeah, again, it's not who I would have went with. I would have went with Odunze, but yeah, the Broncos here, Sean Payton. The writing's on the wall for Russell Wilson. I don't expect him to be back, just like most people don't expect him to be back, despite the big dead money cap hit that they're going to have to absorb. So it's JJ McCarthy for the Broncos. I think this is the area in the first round where he's been going in a lot of mock drafts. And I think it just makes too much sense. The Broncos really don't have another option. And, there is some potential there with McCarthy. I unfortunately wasn't able to watch a lot of the quarterbacks last night. But I think getting coached by Sean Payton, he should do pretty well, especially because they already have some solid weapons there in Denver. And McCarthy is 6'2 and a half, 219. So pretty solid size.
Yeah. This is exactly where I had JJ as well. I had him going 12. I think it makes a lot of sense. Now here with the Raiders, I have Raiders number 13. And this one's a little tough. They have a lot of needs. A lot of them on the defensive side. And I think with JJ McCarthy unavailable, and it looks like they're moving on.
Reach for the quarterback.
I don't see him reaching for a guy like Bo Nix. I could see him trading back into the first for Bo Nix, but I don't see them taking him right now. So right now I am torn between two players. I like Terrion Arnold, both of them Bama players, Terrion Arnold and J.C. Latham. But I'm going to go with Terrion Arnold. I think this team is trying to look for just a better defense. And I think with their defensive-minded coach, I think Terrion makes a lot of sense here as the first cornerback off the board.
Yeah, the Raiders are a tough one to kind of pick apart in the first round. They have – I don't really think the Raiders are a team that have a lot of glaring needs. I'd say off-ball linebacker and offensive line, running back as well, depending on what happens with Josh Jacobs. But yeah, they're a tough one. Thankfully, you had that pick this week.
Yeah, they are tough to read because they don't have a need specifically at a ton of places, probably other than quarterback, but they need to improve like everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on with the Saints here, and this is where I would have loved to take Brock Bowers for Derek Carr. I understand Rome Odunze is still on the board. Would absolutely love to pair him with Chris Olave. Michael Thomas is a free agent. They have Rashid Shaheed, who's the speedster. However, I'm going to pass again on Rome Odunze because, as you can see, two of the top 5 needs are on the offensive line for New Orleans. I'm blanking on who their left tackle is.
Let me look it up for you.
Because Andres Pete's a guard now. But Ryan Ramczyk, Trevor Penning.
That's right. Yeah. Weird guy.
Has been a kind of a bust as a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Ryan Ramczyk, I can't recall if he's a free agent or not. But they have a lot of decisions to make on the O-line. And
oh, Lord, it's me. Sorry, audience. He is cut out for a little bit. I'll give him a second to get back. I won't obviously make a pick for him. So we'll see what he does. Yeah. Who did I have the Saints taking? I'm just looking at my mock draft. I had actually defensive tackle Jason Newton from Illinois going to the Raiders at this time. But sounds like he's going to choose someone else.
Yeah, so I went with JC Latham for the Saints there. And we already got the sound recording on it, so
Nice. Well, I got 15. I got Colts. I got a lot of Colts friends from my time back in Indiana. And I think they're going to love this pick because the slide of Roma Dunze will end right here. You give Anthony Richardson his wide receiver 1. You got Roma Dunze. I think that's a perfect match. I think that would be a very good pick for the Colts.
Yeah, I agree. Michael Pittman, free agent. Probably going to get the tag. We'll see, though. And Josh Downs had a pretty solid rookie season last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they got some pieces. But, yeah, getting another guy that can replace Pittman, I think, be solid for Indy. Now the Seahawks. The Seahawks, our guy John Babington, he's going to be intently tuning in to see who we got for his new head coach, Mike McDonald.
And it's Bo Nix.
It's not great in terms of the top guys available and in terms of what they need, because they need guard.
Mm-hmm.
Could go with JPJ, the center there. But I think I'm going to continue to build the D-line for Seattle, and I'm going to go with Johnny Newton. He's a beast from Illinois. And I think they have some free agents on the D-line as well. So I'm going to go Terzon Newton for Seattle.
Now, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, as we know. Jacksonville just fell off the face of the map last year after being put in a position where they should have won the division. And their main need right now is defensive tackle. But right now, I look at defensive tackle, the best available defensive tackles available right now. I'm not overly impressed. I could see him go Byron Murphy the second here. But I think at this point in the draft, that might be a reach. So I think what they're going to do, because I think Calvin Ridley's out, I think they're going to give Trevor Lawrence another weapon, and they're going to stay in state and take Keon Coleman out of Florida State.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense with the Calvin Ridley decision coming up. I've heard that they want to re-sign him. It's the fact of whether they can.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, too, if you re-sign him, you have to give up draft capital, and that's a big thing.
Well, they have to regardless, but it's whether they want to give up a second-round pick or a third-round pick. But, yeah, without taking wide receiver, there's definitely some other – the corners, I think, would be a good option for Jacksonville. I'm up with the Bengals. You know, they need protection for Joe Burrow. They also might need to replace T. Higgins, and they could do that if there was a receiver here, even though they franchise tagged him, looking toward the future. Tyler Boyd's a free agent as well. They could possibly get T's future replacement here. But again, not really. I mean, Brian Thomas could reunite LSU guys together with him and Chase. However, I think for the Bengals' sake, I am going to go the offensive tackle route, help Joey B out. I'm going to get him a guy like Amarius Mims here.
I like that. Now, I have the Rams at 19, and I think This may be a little interesting. Their top need is cornerback, and I'm looking at Quinion Mitchell from Toledo, but there's a speedster that just absolutely blew it away at the combine. I think he broke John Ross's record.
Yes, he did.
Good old. Oh, did he pass him, or was he Nate Wiggins?
No. They have him ranked way down here.
Really, Xavier Worthy. Ooh, that could be interesting. I know that the Rams love to get wide receivers that can move, but I think they like Puka. I think they like Cooper. So I'm going to go safe here. I'm going Quinion Mitchell. I think maybe it's a little too safe, but Rams need a lot of help on the defense backs. And I think Quinion, probably the second best corner in the draft right now. So I would take him right there.
Yeah, that's a good team fit. They need help on the back end, really young. And also new DC as well. So, yeah, and he's a riser. He's been rocketing up boards since the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers here at 20. Luckily for us, luckily for the Steelers, there's a tackle available. It's an interesting decision. Nate Wiggins, Cooper DeJean also are there with Tyler Guyton being the tackle I was talking about. But yeah, I'm going to go corner as well. Nate Wiggins, they need someone to pair with Joey Porter Jr. And really lock this thing down on the back end to give TJ Watt more time to get to the passer. So I'm going to go with Nate Wiggins, who he also blazed, by the way. Him and Quinion Mitchell. Wiggins, the fastest corner, I believe, at the combine. Yeah, 4.28 in the 40.
Yeah.
Little undersized, though. He only weighed in at 173, so might need to put some more muscle on. But he's got a 6'1" frame, so it's pretty solid.
Alrighty. I got the Dolphins at number 21. And if you look at their needs, it's the entire offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But
that is.
It is. And I think everyone would go, oh, get tackles. Those are big. But to me, I think you got to start in the middle. I think they take Jackson Powers Johnson. And I think that's the guy you got to have for Tua. And if you're in need of a center, you take the best center, and JPJ is the best. So I would take him as the Dolphins.
Yeah, I love that team fit as well. They're losing their whole interior offensive line is just free agents. So, yeah, that's definitely a solid selection. Up with my Eagles here. A lot of good players to pick from. They can go edge. With the Hassan Reddick stuff going down right now, Cooper DeJean is a option. Kool-Aid McKinstry. They could go wide receiver to add to AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Tyler Guyton would be a good future replacement for Lane Johnson. Unfortunately, there's no centers with JPJ off the board to potentially replace Jason Kelce. But I think I am going to go with Cooper DeJean. Makes too much sense. They compare him with Reed Blankenship on the back end. There's been talks of possibly even reuniting with CJ Gardner-Johnson as well this offseason. And as much as I would love to draft my Penn State boy and Chop Robinson, I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean to help out the back end because the Eagles need it.
All right. I have the Houston Texans, and we got a lot of good choices here. A lot of them on the edge, Jared Verse and Chop Robinson, but kind of with the Keon Coleman pick with Jacksonville, I'm staying in state. They're taking Byron Murphy II for defensive tackle. I think that's a great fit. Keep him in state. I love Byron. I'm like very high on him. If the Vikings somehow were able to trade back into the first round, I would hope it would be for him. And I think he makes a lot of sense for Houston.
Yeah, Sheldon Rankins is a free agent there with Houston and had a great season. But yeah, Byron Murphy, the Texas boys, him and Tavondre Sweat, excellent players. Byron Murphy, the more upside pass rushing guy, can give the upstart Texans another young star. Once again, picking for, I don't know, I guess I'm the first one to pick for a whole division.
Yeah, because you had Washington, Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys. You went 4 for 4 in the NFC East.
So this sets up very nicely for Dallas. While they do need interior defensive line help a little bit, which it sucks for the Byron Murphy being off the board, could go corner to have someone to pair with Trayvon Diggs coming back from ACL and Deron Bland. But I'm going with Tyler Guyton. This is an easy selection. Tyron Smith not expected back with Dallas, so they need a future left tackle, and Guyton's going to be that guy for Dallas.
Yeah, I had them picking the exact same pick. Ironically, I had them trading back and still getting Tyler Guyton. So I really like this pick. And have I gone 3 for 3 with the 3 or 4 right now with the NFC North? Because I've got
Make Wisconsin mad.
Make Wisconsin. You know what? I'm not. I think I made this pick in my mock draft, and it burned me to make it because it was a good pick for Green Bay. With Jair Alexander very much seeming falling out of favor a lot with this team, both with his performance and antics, I had him taking Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama, and man, did I hate making that for Green Bay because I think that's a fantastic pick for them.
Yeah, I think they needed it regardless of the Jair situation. They were another team that needed secondary, more specifically safety. However, even though they have Cam Kitchens ranked as the number 30th on their board, I don't think there's a safety other than Cooper DeJean that goes in the first round. It's just not a high talent level class. There's a lot of great players that you can get day 2 and day 3 at safety. So yeah, I agree to not go with safety and go a different position.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Bucks here. They need a lot. Got a lot of decisions to make. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, Tristan Wirfs is going to get paid soon as well. They just released Shaq Barrett, though. So I think even though don't really know what the wide receiver landscape is going to look like, other than Chris Godwin, I think I'm going to go with one of the edges here. And I don't know why. I just have a feeling that it's going to be Chop over Jared Verse. Now, you look at the two different body types. Jared Verse, 6'4", 254. They're actually very similar. Chop, 6'3", 254. Verse has an inch longer on the arms. So, but Chop's a lot more athletic. Chop ran a 4.48 in the 40. Verse was a 4.58 guy, and Verse actually got him on the vert by a half an inch. But other than that, they're pretty similar. And I just think Chop plays better as a 3-4 outside linebacker than Verse. I think Verse is more of a 4-3 end type of guy, although I'm sure he could play it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Chop over Jared Verse here for the Bucks.
That's a good pick. All right. Now, I have the Cardinals. They have already picked MHJ. Are they the first team, first and only team to have 2 picks in the first round? Looks like.
Yes. No, the Bears. The Bears.
Bears, that's right. Bears. Okay, so there's 2. They already have MHJ, so they definitely don't need wide receiver. So who did I have them taking? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I had them taking that offensive tackle from Georgia that Dallas came in to get. So this is.
I got that was with the Bengals.
Oh no, it
Remember?
was Tyler Guyton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's who I had them taking.
Oklahoma.
So this is a tough one because I see them going defense.
Bo Nix.
I actually had Bo Nix going to the Bucks.
Yeah.
That's who I had him going to.
Yeah.
But I have him going defense here. Maybe this isn't a need fit. I think they're going to see this guy and go, "Holy crap, he fell to us," and I think they're going to take him. I think they take Jared Verse. I think they are very excited to see him fall to them. They could take, I forget the offensive tackle from Washington. I just saw his name on the screen.
Yeah, Troy.
Yeah, Troy. They could take him. That could be a need fit. And maybe even Leonard Taylor from Miami. But I think the upside of Jared Verse, and if he falls to you, you don't look at gift horse in the mouth. That's kind of how I felt with the Bears taking Brock Bowers. And I think this is kind of the same thing with Cardinals. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Take Jared Verse, and you walk out of there with the best wide receiver and a very good edge rusher out of the first round. I think that'd be a very successful first round for the Cardinals. So I have Jared Verse going to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I would have went with Kamari Lassiter for Arizona there.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, with the Bills here, interesting situation. They are not a hard team to pick for. They're going to go wide receiver, especially with Verse off the board now. And it's whether they want to go Brian Thomas or at A.D. Mitchell. And, I mean, when you talk about these two guys, both burners in the 40 anyways, AD 4.34, Brian Thomas 4.33. Excellent on the verts, 39.5 on AD, 38.5 for Brian Thomas. Mitchell got him by a bit in the broad. He jumped 11.4. I was surprised that Brian Thomas did the bench. Usually guys that aren't going to perform very well don't do the bench or don't do a certain drill. And he did the bench, and he had the worst mark by all the wide receivers. He did 11 reps, which, I mean, over 10 for wide receivers is decent. But when you're 6'3", 209, 11's a little bit on the shallow end. But I think I'm going to go I like Brian Thomas a lot. And they can both fly. Brian Thomas has an inch on 80, 6'2", a couple pounds lighter. But I'm going to go with AD. I don't know. Brian Thomas feels better with Buffalo, but AD, I think, fits what they need because he's kind of an in-between between Stephon Diggs and Khalil Shakir, who they have with Gabe Davis hitting free agency.
Mm-hmm. All right. You went 4 for 4 with the NFC East. I went 4 for 4 with the NFC North. Now, here is a tough one. The Lions, they had a very good season. And my instinct after watching the NFC Championship game would almost be to go wide receiver because of how many just drops they had. But I think that would be too much of an overreaction. I think if you look at this team, their biggest need is just defensive backs. They just kind of, in the second half of that 49ers NFC Championship game, they didn't do their job. You could blame the drops all you want, but that defensive backfield was bad. I'm not going to go with Kitchens. I'm going to go corner. Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. Come on down. You are a Detroit Tiger. I mean, Tiger. Lion. Sorry. No animal.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other one I would have considered for Detroit would have been Darius Robinson. He's been flying up boards right now. They need a second fiddle to Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. But Darius Robinson will fit very well with the Ravens. But that's not where I'm going to go. This is where I'm going to go with Brian Thomas. I think he would fit in very well in Baltimore, give Lamar more weapons. They're not expected to re-sign OBJ, from what I hear anyways. They do need some offensive line in terms of guards, so Graham Barton could be in play. And they haven't franchise tagged yet Justin Matabike, so Leonard Taylor also could be in the mix here, or Tavondre Sweat.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Brian Thomas. I think makes a lot of sense for Baltimore.
Does. Now I have the Super Bowl second place team, San Francisco. But I think with the two best late round wide receivers gone and with the Ayuk rumors, I don't think they will take a wide receiver. You know what I think they're going to do? We have a trade to announce. That's right.
Do we actually, though?
Let's give it a shot. I have it between them and the Buccaneers. Now let's see if we can make a trade work. If not, I will just talk through it and just say who I think the Buccaneers would take at 31. Okay. Oh, we got it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
One first.
You're new.
That's all it took.
You're new. Quarterback for the Buccaneers, Bo Nix.
As far as it worked, let's see. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the trade that we did.
I had the Buccaneers taking Bo Nix at 26, but I didn't get the draft with them because you had even numbers. But I think the Buccaneers want to get Bo Nix late in the first round, and I could see them taking Chop Robinson and trading back into the first to get their quarterback to replace Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix.
Or sit for a year under Baker.
Ooh, yeah, they could sit for a year. That would mean probably bringing back Baker.
Yeah, so the Chiefs, I think, are one of the more interesting Super Bowl champion picks at the end of the first here. They're in a good spot because there are tackles available and they sorely need tackles. Faltanu would be good. Sua Mataia would be good. Jordan Morgan. But it's wide receiver. It has to be. And there's a lot of excellent players to pick from right here with Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, and Troy Franklin. However, I'm going to be selfish because I want the Panthers to draft Xavier Worthy. So, and I think just in my mind, Ladd McConkey fits well, would look good in the Kansas City red. And I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey to Kansas City.
All right.
Our mock draft.
All right, let's see them full results. So we had 2 trades, both by me, because I'm crazy. A little bit. Let's see. Not a lot of shockers here, in my opinion. Although in real life, the draft always has shockers.
Yeah.
I don't think there's.
I made my points known whenever I didn't like your picks. But
you did.
Like Brock Bowers to Chicago, I wasn't a big fan of. Like we said, the Raiders are tough without a quarterback in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other one I think I said on yours that I wasn't a big fan of was the Kool-Aid and the Jared Verse ones.
Yeah, I mean,
solid.
The thing for me is, especially when it came for Jared Verse, when you see a guy drop that far, teams are going to go, okay, we have needs here, but this guy is dropping. Like, we should I've seen it plenty of times in drafts where guys are like, okay, sure, we could go this position for scheme fit, but this is a top 10 talent that's falling to us in the mid-20s. It'd be it'd be a pretty bad move to let him continue to go.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that is our first mock draft Monday, first round mock. Drop that tomorrow at noon Eastern ish, depending on when I get a chance to get it out there. But yeah, it's a good time. We'll be back talking mock draft Monday next week as well. And of course, we'll have your normal FA podcast show on at 4 East or 4 Central on Monday as well.